make better documents. In this series, we'll take a look at some documents. We will look at 3 good things about a document and 3 things that could be better. This document is very different to others that we've looked at. It has more of a quirky, handmade look to it, but it's still very clean and clear and professional. So first we'll just go through the whole document. Pullouts, sections. There's this hand-drawn motif throughout. Some graphs. You can see it's a very minimal color palette. Okay, so now let's take a look at 3 pros. As I've just said, this is a super consistent style throughout. All of these pull quotes, all the hand-drawn lines, all the various pullouts, and each time there's a certain sort of box, it's always exactly the same. So you can see this case study has a yellow outline, a yellow fade, the little picture. Advice and support, always the same with this purple outline, purple fade, and advice and support with the yellow background here. If you flip through the whole document, you'll see that these boxes always look exactly the same, no matter where they show up. I want to discuss also this icon here that they've used for the case studies. This is really important because what we've done is we've personalized the case study by making it a human, even if it's a hand-drawn human, but we haven't put an actual face of a person on there. The last thing I wanted to talk about is the section headers. These are really useful so we know that it's section 3 and what its name is. They've also done a little breakdown of each of the different categories that we'll be looking at. It also has that hand-drawn aspect to it with the hand-drawn sort of circles around the edge here. This font, very hand-drawn. The lines hand-drawn, the little bubble. Let's discuss 3 things that could be made better. I wanted to mention this hand-drawn quirky font, while fine for just a word like the names of the people in the case study, when you start to see it in an entire sentence, like in these boxes, it becomes a little more difficult to digest. It's a little bit harder to read. Again, related to suitability of fonts, this particular hand-drawn font is quite hard to read, particularly when there's just so much of it on a page. It is a little bit distracting, and I wouldn't be surprised if this page got skipped because it's just too difficult to read. The other one I want to discuss is the spacing between the headlines and the text. So on these pages, it's fine, the heading, the little space, and then the paragraph, the space between the heading, the text, and then the paragraphs, even the little tiny space between the paragraphs is sufficient. And I think that this was set up inside the styles for the document, but the spacing ends up looking a little bit more odd when there's a smaller paragraph and a lot more headings on the page. So as you can see on this page, the spacing between the heading and the next paragraph, it doesn't seem like enough for this page. It makes it seem like perhaps this text is attached to the paragraph above it. This paragraph style here shows up on page 26 as well, but because there's a couple more dot points underneath each heading, the spacing between the heading and the text doesn't seem quite as unusual. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the description is information about how to come to one of our online group workshops, how to hire me to design all of your workshop materials, as well as a link to quick online courses. Making the world a more beautiful place, one document at a time.